It began with a subtle unease, a sensation I couldn't quite place. A slight change in the way she spoke, a softness in her tone that didn't belong, the kind of softness you only notice when you've been used to sharper edges. Emma and I had been married for nearly a decade. 10 years of quiet mornings, whispered plans, and that deep, unspoken understanding that comes from truly knowing someone. I believed we were steady, that the bumps in the road were just ordinary life friction. That illusion shattered one evening when I glimpsed a message on her phone as it lay on the couch beside me. Can't stop thinking about today. It was from a number I didn't recognize. When I asked Emma about it, she laughed nervously. It's nothing, just a group chat. You know how it is. I nodded, but a knot had already formed in my stomach. That night, lying awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, I knew something was off. Weeks passed, and the lunches became more frequent, the explanations increasingly vague. I couldn't ignore it any longer. One afternoon, left alone with her phone, I gave in to a temptation I had never considered before. I went through it. The messages were unmistakable. Her lunch companion, someone named Mark, was far more than just a friend. The exchanges were intimate, emotionally charged, and shocking in their depth. I felt a surge of anger, humiliation, and disbelief crash over me. Emma, my Emma, was involved in an affair, and this wasn't just a fleeting crush. It was a connection that rivaled what we had once shared. For a week, I carried this secret silently, grappling with whether to confront her, leave, or beg for explanations. Instead, I chose a darker path. I planned deliberately, methodically. I dug into Mark's life, discovering he was married as well. His wife, Clara, was a kind-faced woman with young children, completely unaware of what was happening. Next, I hired a private investigator, a grizzled man named Gus with the kind of face that could stop people in their tracks. His work was meticulous. Photos of Emma and Mark leaving hotels together, laughing with their arms brushing, even a kiss captured in a parked car, all undeniable evidence. I contacted Clara with care, keeping my message concise but truthful. Within an hour, she replied with a single sentence. "Thank you for telling me." From that moment, the situation was no longer mine to control, but I had one final move in mind. I wanted Emma to face the consequences of her betrayal, to understand the destruction she had caused. I invited her to lunch, insisting on a private, seemingly romantic setting. She arrived, radiant from her supposed midday outing, only to stop dead when she saw the table. A crisp tablecloth, polished silverware, 2 glasses of wine, and a manila envelope containing every piece of evidence Gus had gathered. "What's this?" she asked, her voice trembling. I didn't answer. I motioned for her to sit. Reluctantly, she complied. I slid the envelope toward her. "Open it," I said. Her hands shook as she sifted through the photographs and text printouts. "I can explain," she began, but her voice faltered. "Explain what?" Pressed. "Explain the lies, the secrecy, the betrayal. Explain how you've been throwing away our marriage." Tears formed in her eyes. "It's not like that," she whispered. Leaned back. "Then what is it like, Emma? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've been having your cake and eating it too." She broke down, sobbing, apologies spilling out in meaningless torrents. I let her, letting the weight of her actions crash down on her. Then I dropped the final revelation. I had contacted Clara. Emma's eyes widened in horror. She was suddenly confronted not only with my anger but with another woman's, a woman wronged and furious. The next knock at the door sealed it. Clara stepped inside, composed yet fierce, with Mark trailing behind her. Emma's face went pale. "What is this?" she whispered. "This," I said, "is closure." The confrontation that followed was brutal. Clara unleashed years of pent-up frustration on Mark, and then turned on Emma with equal force. Words sharp enough to cut through the tension filled the room. By the end, Mark and Emma were broken, humiliated, stripped of the pride they had carried in. Clara and I exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement that we had endured, while they had not. The aftermath was swift. Emma left that evening and I filed for divorce. Clara did the same, and Mark's life unraveled as his wife exposed the affair to his employer. Both families suffered irreparably. The consequences of their choices laid bare. For me, recovery was slower, filled with sleepless nights and quiet grief. But over time, the anger faded, replaced by resolve. Therapy, exercise, and reconnecting with old friends helped me rebuild. A year later, I am stronger, happier, and more certain of my worth than I have ever been. Emma and Mark did not survive the guilt of their actions. Revenge may not be virtuous, but sometimes it becomes the spark we need to reclaim our lives. And reclaim it I did.